Good morning, all. A quick little wake up call from traders community as the market waits for the latest round of inflation data. We have the CPI out in just a few minutes at 8:30 Eastern Time, 15 minutes or so. The data is expected to be 7% year on year, which would be the highest since 1982. It was 6.8% last month. This is annualized. Core CPI is expected to rise by 5.4%, 4.9% last month, which is the highest since 1991. Yesterday we had Jerome Powell, more with a, as we said in last night, more measured approach. There was also the mention that the QE is going to be a little bit controlled and perhaps later depending on the situation, and that he did not want to go too quick to lose what they'd gained on jobs. That's still his number one thing at first, but then he also said it was price control. So that was our main news overnight. We also today going to have the 36 billion of the 10-year notes today, which when they reopen the 9 and 10 month notes at 1 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. And tomorrow that refunding program will be complete with the 30 years bonds. So overnight, the other thing overnight, or actually after the close, was the API numbers, which came out with a million barrel draw for crude. Cushing was a big 3.6 billion. Again, that was a flip if you remember in December. That's the tax effect. Gasoline was a massive 10 billion, and the distillates was 3 billion, both of those being surpluses. Gold is down $2. It was up almost 20 yesterday. Silver is unchanged. Oil is up about 20 cents or so, ahead of the EIA today, which you can read about on Around the Barrel, which if you follow that, we put out every week on the Traders Community site, and also it becomes quite an active thread on Twitter with a lot of the top oil traders, analysis, etc. Taking part in that discussion. Well worth doing. Europe, all the indices up or flat. Germany and France and UK all up noticeably. Spain and Italy flat at the minute. Yields are steady pretty much in the US debt market. As far as European yields go, a point worth making is the 10-year in the US is around 1.7.5, is higher than the major European 10-year yields, with Italian yields at minus 39 basis points being the closest, with a yield of 1.35. Okay, let's see what else we got overnight here. We've pretty well covered it. Stock-wise, we have IBM down $2, about 1.6%, after receiving a downgrade to sell at UBS. Alumina, ILMN, $423 stock, is up $61 or 17% with upbeat guidance. CVS is up another $1. That's been one of the hot ones of late. And that's a new 52-week high, I believe, after raising their guidance. And all we had out yesterday, economic-wise, was the NFIB, small business, if you recall. So that gets a little bit different today. So let's have a look at what's actually happening today. We talked about yesterday in our aftermarket, Biogen was down. They're still down marketably, down $21 or 9%, after Medicare officials proposed to only cover the company's Alzheimer's drug for patients in clinical trials. PayPal's down another $4 after stock was downgraded to hold over at Jefferies. DoorDash is actually up $3. Upgraded to outperform over at Evercore. And Dash CEO Tony Zhu has joined the Meta board of directors. That's interesting. Not sure what the relevance is there. But Quest Diagnostics is down $3. This after their earnings, despite guiding their Q4 EPS and revenue higher. In Asia, as you'd expect, a pretty brisk day to the upside. Nikkei was up 1.9, Hong Kong is up 2.8, China up a tad, and India up a tad, 0.8 and 0.9. Australia was up 0.7. Nothing too significant news-wise. The Reuters Tankin Index was out, 17, and that was down from 22 last time. So you can see Omicron has affected nearly all these things. Volkswagen and Toyota warned their production at factories in Tianjin, that's one of those places locked in, is affected. So let's go a quick look at the charts here. The S&P fair value is up 1350. Let's have a quick look here. So on the daily, you can see again yesterday we're just sitting above here. This Tankin's going to be our major support. Obviously, if this all holds, you just keep your eye on that channel from the bullish point of view. Bearish, we know where our support is. That's our weekly. Let's look at daily. A little bit clearer there. The bear would be big on this being sometime a head and shoulders. You would want this to get above this high here. And here we are on hourly. You can see we just drifted up all day, all night, actually sideways really. So CPI is going to be telling initial move. It is a very high number, and it's interesting that it's accepted, and I think that's a lot to do. We've accepted that we're going to have rates rises. They're not massive, along those lines, and we're in the middle of rotation. What's going to be interesting is when we come out of rotation. Okay, NASDAQ overnight, identical, dead flat. Apple, you can see got up to 176 earlier, trading 175.5 right now. You can see that Tankin's been very interesting. We did have this wick here, down to the Cajun yesterday. Here we are with the Russell. This is the one the dribblers and the small guys tend to focus. You get in those trading rooms and stuff. A lot of that stuff's in here. AMC's the big one. That's probably all you need to know. If we look at a 30-minute one overnight, you can see it's, sorry about that. You can see it is sideways. Okay, let's go to our energy. We have our big oil report out today. Overnight on natural gas, we continued. Remember how significant was this breakdown here? And you can see, remember I cautioned to not get too short or long before it broke. And this is why. You don't know which way it's going to go, but when it goes, it's usually consistent because it's either a trend change or a weather change. We've just continued up there since nicely. We traded as high as 449 overnight to plus 2.8. So you got to keep your mind that, and this is where you look at the optionality on whether the hedging's been done or whether there was too much vol sold down here. That's to determine whether you sell the rally or go with it. So keep an eye on that sort of stuff. That's the 60-minute. If you look at the weekly on Natty, it hit our target overnight. That Tankin, remember? Almost. I'm not sure if the orders would have got filled. I know it's just short of what I was looking at there. And we will look quickly. Let's change that to daily, that hourly. And you can see, again, clear. So this is all that pattern I was talking about. And you can see this is a great example. Avoid all this nonsense. Here's where it got bullish when it went back over, potentially, when it broke through this pennant, which was the Cajun, and it had that gap up. If you remember, we filled in nicely, gave you a classic right in here. So that's pretty straightforward. Okay, oil overnight. Guess what it's done? It just continues to dribble up. So we're almost 82 here going into yesterday's number. Again, go to the site, get all the details on there. There's also a really good natural gas thing we do every week called Into the Vortex. Check them out, all you oil people and the gas. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Okay, weekly, identical. Over the 61.8, you can see 80.50, which is $1.40 away now, is at pivot. Okay, oil 240. Look at this. Little continuations. As you can see, it's very consistent. Off the tankin, breaks at high, and you got your levels there. What else we got to look at real quick? Let's have a look at your Bitcoin. Bitcoin pressuring highs, 43,300. And where are we? I just want to have a quick look at XLE. There we are in the pre-market, up more notches. Remember, this isn't just oil, this is also natural gas. So it's getting pumped from both sides. Tilt down a little bit, so you can see that. That means down here means higher rate. So that's effect. So that's as you would expect with CPI coming out. Okie doke there. And moving right along, we'll check one more. Gold, nothing to speak of. Overnight, as I said, it's down a tad. It's in that triangle working over time. And we'll leave you with a little oil chart here. And there we have it, everyone. We have, as I said, the inflation out today. The bond auction, that's your main things. Overseas, lots of angst over in Great Britain with pressure on Johnson to resign. That's to do with a party he had a while back about breaking rules, is what I understand. And out of France, the BOF Governor de Galho said the Eurozone is very close to the peak inflation. There we go. Have a great day. Be safe out there. And patient. Let the market evolve for you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what we're doing. Follow us on Twitter, traders.com. And all the best from us. Trade smart. Watch out for that inflation.